Alright, in this video we're going to look at the quadratic formula. A quadratic formula would be used to solve a quadratic. Typically that does not factor, because if this factors that would be the easiest way to go. And also it would be used on quadratics where the a is not 1 and the b is not even, because otherwise if a is 1 and b is even, the completing the square would be a much more quick and efficient way of solving the quadratic. So what the quadratic formula tells you is if you have a quadratic in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, and that's z equal to 0, again it has to be in this order. The a is in front of the x squared, the b is in front of the x, and the c is the whole number. Then you have this formula which generates your solutions. And that formula is the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And your middle school teachers probably sang you a little song. It's a jingle from an old TV show, The Addams Family. It went, the opposite of b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Da-da-da-da, 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 da-da-da-da. Okay, so let's go ahead and use it. So here's our quadratic, 7x squared minus 12x plus 3. So this is your a, this is your b, this is your c. And notice that it's set equal to 0, and these are in descending order, so this is the a, the b, and the c. So now, let's go ahead and plug in. So x will equal the opposite of negative 12. And again, if you want to write this as plus 12, you can. I'm going to write it as the negative 12 currently, and we'll fix that in the next step. Plus or minus the square root of b squared, so this is negative 12 squared, minus 4ac, so this is 4 times a, which is 7, times c, which is 3. And then this is all over 2 times a, and a is 7. So this fraction goes over this entire expression. So x equals, now the opposite of negative 12 is positive 12, plus or minus the square root. Now I normally do this in two sections. Do the squared part and then do this multiplication. So negative 12 squared is positive 144. When you square a negative, it's always positive, so this is always positive. Minus 4 times 7 times 3. Well, 4 times 7 is 28. 28 times 3 is 28 times 3, plug it in the calculator, is 84. Okay, then that's all over 2 times 7, which is 14. Okay, now we can reduce this fraction some more. We've got 12 plus or minus, this is the square root. 144 minus 84 is 60. That's all over 14. Now we need to reduce the square root. So x equals 12 plus or minus. Now we need to find factors of 60. So if we try dividing it by 2, we get 30. That's not a perfect square. Divide it by 3, you get 20. That's not a perfect square. Divide it by 5, that's 12. And that's not a perfect square. So none of those are perfect squares. But if we take 60 and divide by the first square number, which is 4, we get 15. So we're going to break 60 up into 4 times 15. Square root of 4 is 2. Then you're left with the square root of 15. And that's all over 14. And now 12, 2 square root of 15, and 14 are all multiples of 2. So we can reduce that. So the 12 is going to turn into a 6, plus or minus. The 2 square root of 15 is just going to turn into a square root of 15 when you take out the 2. And the 14 is going to turn into a 7. So there is your solution for this quadratic. Okay?